For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. Russia's President Vladimir Putin is accusing the West of waging a real war against Russia. His comments were made at a scaled-down Victory Day parade marking the end of World War II today. His comments translated by Al Jazeera.
We are seeing blatant revanchism of those who were cynically and openly preparing a new conquest against Russia. Those who assembled evil neo-Nazis from across the globe. Their goal, and there's nothing new here, is to break up and destroy our country, erase the results of World War II, and completely break the system of global security and international law.
Putin's remarks came just hours after Moscow fired its latest barrage of cruise missiles at targets in Ukraine. Ukrainian authorities say air defenses destroyed 23 of 25 missiles launched. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky joined the EU in marking Victory Day Monday and compared Putin to the Nazis.
Зло ми знищували разом. Так само, як разом протистоїмо зараз.
Unfortunately, evil has returned to our cities and villages then, as it is doing now. We fought then, we fight now, so that no one again enslaves other peoples and destroys other countries. The old evil that modern Russia is bringing back will be defeated, just as Nazism was.
Так само, як і нацизм.
Ukraine is reportedly preparing a counteroffensive to Russia's latest uptick in attacks. The U.S. has announced another $1.2 billion in aid to Ukraine. Israel's military says it's killed 3 senior commanders of the militant Islamic Jihad group in airstrikes that also killed their families, including women and children. Palestine's health ministry said 13 people were killed, 20 wounded. The strikes hit the top floor of an apartment building in Gaza City and a house in the southern city of Rafah. The strike continued early today, targeting a militant training sites. It's an escalation of cross-border violence after a Palestinian member of the group died while on a hunger strike in an Israeli prison without charges, which resulted in rocket attacks on Israel. The death toll from the ongoing clashes in Sudan has risen to 604, including civilians, according to the UN's World Health Organization. It also says more than 5,000 people were wounded in connection with the fighting. The figures come as warring parties continue talks in Saudi Arabia. The military, which is led by General Abdel Fattah Burhan, and a rival paramilitary group called the Rapid Support Forces, have been at odds for months. Burhan accused the RSF of using residential neighborhoods as their military bases and civilians as human shields, demanded their troops withdraw from the capital before reaching a truce. The RSF has not responded to the demand, at least publicly. In the U.S., the man accused of killing 8 people and wounding several others in a mass shooting at a suburban Dallas shopping mall had affinity with white supremacy. 33-year-old Mauricio Garcia, who was killed, had large Nazi tattoos on his chest and arm. Authorities say he researched when the mall he shot up was busiest. Other online activity betrayed a fascination with mass shootings and white supremacy. The Gun Violence Archives reports 202 mass shootings this year. In Austin, protesters rallied at the State House demanding lawmakers enact stiffer gun control. Brett Cross was raising an Uvalde school shooting victim, Uzia Garcia.
Why do these people who sit in power sit there and do absolutely nothing while our children are slaughtered? We've seen it. We saw it yesterday. The day before, there were 5-year-old's brains were spewed out.
A panel did pass a measure to raise the legal age to purchase an AR-15, the weapon used in the shopping mall shooting, and is known as a weapon of choice for mass shooters. Eileen Alfandary reports.
Democratic State Senator Roland Gutierrez represents the community of Uvalde, which suffered a mass shooting at Robb Elementary School nearly a year ago, which killed 19 children and 2 adults. He said Garcia may have targeted people of color when he opened fire with an AR-15-style weapon.
The people that died were Koreans, were Hispanics, were Indian Americans. You're starting to see that what happened out there was white supremacy.
Meantime, authorities have charged with manslaughter the driver of an SUV that killed 8 people when it slammed into a Brownsville, Texas bus stop near a shelter for migrants. The ACLU of Texas said in a statement it understands the motive in the crash is still under investigation, But it noted that what it called this horrific event came after weeks of escalating anti-immigrant policymaking by Texas politicians. President Biden, Texas Governor Abbott, and other elected officials continue to spread fear about immigration instead of treating the needs of people crossing the border as a humanitarian matter. I'm Eileen Alfandary for KPFA News.
President Joe Biden will meet with congressional lawmakers today to try to come to agreement about the nation's debt limit before June 1st. The date Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says the U.S. will hit a default and be unable to pay its bills. I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.